Dinner time, Jeremiah 39. In the 9th year of Sidkiyahu, sovereign of Yehuda, in the 10th new moon, Nebuchadnezzar, sovereign of Babel, and all his army came against Yerushalayim and besieged it. In the 11th year of Sidkiyahu, in the 4th new moon, on the 9th day of the new moon, the city was broken into. And all the heads of the sovereign of Babel came in and sat in the middle gate: Nergal, Shar Esther, Samgar Nebo, Sarsekim, Rabsaris, Nergal, Sarezer, Rabmag, and all the rest of the heads of the sovereigns of Babel. And it came to be, when Sidkiyahu the sovereign of Yehuda and all the men of battle saw them, they fled and left the city by night, by way of the sovereign's garden, by the gate, between the two walls. And he went out toward the desert plain, and the army of the Kasdim pursued them and overtook Sidkiyahu in the desert plains of Jericho. And they captured him and brought him up to Nebuchadnezzar, sovereign of Babel, to Riblah in the land of Hamath, where he spoke judgment on him. And the sovereign of Babel slew the sons of Sidkiyahu before his eyes in Riblah. The sovereign of Babel also slew all the nobles of Yehuda. And he put out the eyes of Sidkiyahu and bound him with bronze shackles to bring him to Babel. And the Kasdim burned the houses of the sovereign and the houses of the people with fire, and they broke down the walls of Yerushalayim. And Nebuchadnezzar, chief of the guard, and Nebuzaradan, chief of the guard, exiled to Babel the remnant of the people who remained in the city, and those who defected to him, and the rest of the people who were left. But Nebuzaradan, chief of the guard, left in the land of Yehuda the poor people, who had not whatever, and gave them vineyards and fields on the same day. And Nebuchadnezzar, the sovereign of Babel, gave command concerning Yirmiyahu to Nebuzaradan, chief of the guard, saying, Take him, and look after him, and do no harm whatsoever to him, but do to him even as he shall speak to you. And Nebuzaradan, chief of the guard, and Nebushazban, and Rabsaris, Nergal, Sharester, and Rabmag, and all the sovereigns of Babel chief officers sent, and had Yirmiyahu taken from the court of the guard, and gave him to Gedaliahu, son of Ahikam, son of Shaphan, to take him home, and he dwelt among the people. And the word of Jehovah had come to Yirmiyahu while he was shut up in the court of the guard, saying, Go, and you shall speak to Ebed-melech, the Cushite, saying, Thus said Jehovah of hosts, the Elohim of Israel, See, I am bringing my words upon this city for evil and not for good, and they shall be before you in that day. And I shall deliver you in that day, declares Jehovah, so that you are not given into the hand of the men of whom you are afraid. And I shall rescue you, and you shall not fall by the sword, but your life shall be as a prize to you, for you have not put your trust in me. For you have put your trust in me, declares Jehovah. The word that came to Yirmiyahu from Jehovah after Nebuzaradan, chief of the guard, had let him go from Ramah, when he had taken him bound in chains among all the exiles from Yerushalayim and Yehuda, who were being exiled to Babel. And the chief of the guard took Yirmiyahu and said to him, Jehovah your Elohim has spoken this evil on this place, and Jehovah has brought it on, and has done, and he has said, Because you have sinned against Jehovah, and did not obey his voice, therefore this matter has come upon you. And now, see, I loosen you today from the chains that were on your hand. If it seems good to you to come with me to Babel, come, and I shall look after you. But if it seems wrong for you to come with me to Babel, remain here. See, all the land is before you. Go wherever it seems good and right for you to go. Or, before he replied, Nebuzaradan said, or go back to Gedaliah, son of Ahikam, son of Shaphan, whom the sovereign of Babel has made governor over the cities of Yehuda, and dwell with him among the people, or go wherever it seems right for you to go. And the chief of the guard gave him provisions and a gift, and let him go. And Yirmiyahu went to Gedaliah, son of Ahikam, to Mitzpah, and dwelt with him among the people who were left in the land. And all the commanders of the armies who were in the fields, they and their men, heard that the sovereign of Babel had made Gedaliah, son of Ahikam, governor in the land, and had put him in charge of the men and women and children and the poor of the land who had not been exiled to Babel. So they came to Gedaliah at Mitzpah, Yishmael the son of Nethaniah, and Johanan and Jonathan the sons of Kareah, and Seariah the son of Tahumith, and the sons of Ophi, and Notaphathite, and Yazaniah and the son of Ma'akathite, they and their men. And Gedaliah, son of Ahikam, son of Shaphan, swore to them and their men, saying, Do not be afraid of serving the Kasdim. Dwell in the land and serve the sovereign of Babel, and it shall be well with you. And I am dwelling at Mitzpah to serve the Kasdim who come to us. But you gather wine and summer fruit and oil, and put them in your vessels, and dwell in your cities which you have taken. Also, when all the Yahudim who were in Moab and among the Ammonites and in Edom, who were in all the lands, heard that the sovereign of Babel had left a remnant of Yehuda, and that he had sent over them Gedaliah, son of Ahikam, son of Shaphan, then all the Yahudim returned from all the places where they had been driven, and came to the land of Yehuda, to Gedaliah at Mitzpah, and gathered wine and summer fruit in large quantities. And Johanan, son of Kareah, and all the commanders of the army that were in the fields came to Gedaliah at Mitzpah, and they said to him, Do you certainly know that Baalis, sovereign of the Ammonites, has sent Yishmael, son of Nethaniah, to strike you, a being? But Gedaliah, son of Ahikam, would not believe them. Then Johanan, son of Kareah, spoke secretly to Gedaliah in Mitzpah, saying, Please let me go and strike Yishmael, son of Nethaniah, without anyone knowing it. Why should he murder you, and so let all the Yahudim who are gathered to you be scattered, and the remnant in Yehuda perish? But Gedaliah, son of Ahikam, said to Johanan, son of Kareah, Do not do this matter, for what you are saying about Yishmael is not true. And in the 7th new moon it came to be that Yishmael, son of Nethaniah, son of Elishama, of the royal seed of the officers of the sovereign, came with 10 men to Gedaliah, son of Ahikam, at Mitzpah. And while they ate bread together there in Mitzpah, Yishmael, son of Nethaniah, and the 10 men who were with him, arose and struck Gedaliah, son of Ahikam, son of Shaphan, with the sword, and killed him, who the sovereign of Babel had made governor over the land. And Yishmael struck all the Yahudim who were with him, with Gedaliah at Mitzpah, and the Kasdim who were found there, the men of battle. And it came to be on the 2nd day after he had killed Gedaliah, when no one yet knew it, that men came from Shechem, from Shiloh, and from Shomeron, 80 men with their beards shaved and their garments torn, having cut themselves, with offerings and incense in their hand, to bring them to the house of Jehovah. And Yishmael, son of Nethaniah, went out from Mitzpah to meet them, weeping as he walked alone. And it came to be as he met them, that he said to them, Come to Gedaliah, son of Ahikam. And it came to be, when they came inside the city, that Yishmael, son of Nethaniah, slew them, throwing them into a pit, he and the men who were with him. But 10 men were found among them, who said, Yishmael, do not kill us, for we have wheat and barley and oil and honey hidden in the field. So he held back and did not kill them among their brothers. And the pit into which Yishmael had thrown all the corpses of the men whom he had struck, because of Gedaliah, who was the same one Asa the sovereign had made for fear of Baasha, sovereign of Israel. Ishmael, son of Nethaniah, who had filled it with the slain. And Ishmael took captive all the rest of the people who were in Mizpah, the sovereign's daughters, and all the people who were left in Mizpah, whom Nebuzaradan, chief of the guard, had entrusted to Gedaliah, son of Ahikam. And Ishmael, son of Nethaniah, took them captive and went to go over to the Ammonites. But Johanan, son of Kareah, and all the commanders of the army that were with him heard of all the evil that Ishmael, son of Nethaniah, had done. So they took all the men and went to fight with Ishmael, son of Nethaniah, and they found him by the great pool that is in Gibeon. And it came to be, when all the people who were with Ishmael, son of Johanan, son of Kareah, and all the commanders of the army who were with him, that they were glad. And all the people whom Ishmael had taken captive from Mizpah turned around and came back and went to Johanan, son of Kareah. But Ishmael, the son of Nethaniah, escaped from Johanan with 8 men and went to the Ammonites. Then Johanan, son of Kareah, and all the commanders of the army that were with him took from Mizpah all the rest of the people who had recovered from Ishmael, son of Nethaniah, after he had struck Gedaliah, son of Ahikam, the mighty men of battle, and the women and the children and the eunuchs whom he had brought back from Gibeon. And they set out and dwelt in the lodging places of Kimham, which are near Bethlehem, and go to enter Mizraim, because of the Kasdim, for they were afraid of them, because Ishmael, son of Nethaniah, had struck Gedaliah, son of Ahikam, whom the sovereign of Babel had made governor in the land. Then all the commanders of the army, and Johanan, son of Kareah, and Yazaniah, son of Josiah, and all the people from the least to the greatest came near, and said to Yirmiyahu the prophet, We beg you, let our petition be acceptable to you, and pray for us to Jehovah your Elohim, for all this remnant, for we are few left, and many as your eyes see us. And let Jehovah your Elohim show us the way in which we should walk, and the word we should do. And Yirmiyahu the prophet said to them, I have heard, see, I am praying to Jehovah your Elohim according to your words. And it shall be that I declare to you all the word Jehovah answers you. I withhold not a word from you. And they said to Yirmiyahu, Let Jehovah be a true and steadfast witness between us, if we do not do according to all the word which Jehovah your Elohim sends us by you. Whether good or evil, let us obey the voice of Jehovah our Elohim, to whom we send you, in order that it might be well with us when we obey the voice of Jehovah our Elohim. And after 10 days it came to be that the words of Jehovah came to Yirmiyahu. So he called Johanan, son of Kareah, and all the commanders of the army which were with him, and all the people from the least even to the greatest, and said to them, Thus said Jehovah, the Elohim of Israel, to whom you sent me to present your petition before him. If you would indeed stay in this land, then I shall build you and not pull you down, and I shall plant you and not pluck you up, for I relented of the evil I have done to you. Do not be afraid of the sovereign of Babel, of whom you are afraid. Do not be afraid of him, declares Jehovah, for I am with you to save you and deliver you from his hand. And I shall show you compassion, so that he has compassion on you and let you return to your own land. But if you say, we are not staying in this land, and so disobey the voice of Jehovah your Elohim, saying, no, but we are going to the land of Mizraim, so that we see no fighting, nor hear a voice of a shofar, nor hunger for bread, or there we shall stay. Then hear the word of Jehovah, O remnant of Yehudah. Thus said Jehovah of hosts, the Elohim of Israel, if you indeed set your faces to enter Mizraim, and shall go to sojourn there, then it shall be that the sword which you feared overtakes you there in the land of Mizraim, and the scarcity of food, of which you were afraid, clings to you there in Mizraim, and you die there. And so it shall be with all the men who set their faces to go to Mizraim, to sojourn there. They shall die by the sword, by scarcity of food, and by pestilence, and not one of them shall survive or escape from the evil I am bringing upon them. For thus said Jehovah of hosts, the Elohim of Israel, as my displeasure and my wrath have been poured out on the inhabitants of Yerushalayim, so shall my wrath be poured out on you when you enter Mizraim, and you shall be an oath and an astonishment and a curse and a reproach, and you shall see this place no more. Jehovah has spoken about you, O remnant of Yehudah. Do not go to Mizraim. Know for certain that I have warned you this day. For you deceived yourselves when you sent me to Jehovah your Elohim, saying, pray for us to Jehovah our Elohim, and according to all that Jehovah your Elohim says, so declare to us, and we shall do it. So I have declared it to you today, but you have not obeyed the voice of Jehovah your Elohim in all which he sent me to you. And now know for certain that you shall die by the sword, by scarcity of food, and by pestilence in the place where you have desired to go to sojourn. And it came to be when Yirmiyahu had ended speaking all these words to the people, all the words of Jehovah their Elohim, for which Jehovah their Elohim had sent to them, and Azariah son of Hoshea, and Johanan son of Kareah, and all the proud men spoke, saying to Yirmiyahu, you are speaking a lie. Jehovah our Elohim has not sent you to say, do not go to Mizraim to sojourn there. For Baruch, son of Neriah, is moving you against us, to give us into the hand of the Kasdim, and to put us to death or exile us to Babel. So Johanan, son of Kareah, and all the commanders of the army, and all the people disobeyed the voice of Jehovah, to stay in the land of Yehudah. And Johanan, son of Kareah, and all the commanders of the army, took all the remnant of Yehudah, who had returned to dwell in the land of Yehudah, from all nations where they had been driven, the men and the women and the children, and the sovereign's daughters, and every being whom Nebuzaradan, chief of the guard, had left with Gedaliahu, son of Ahikam, son of Shaphan, and Yirmiyahu the prophet, and Baruch, son of Neriyahu. So they went to the land of Mizraim, for they disobeyed the voice of Jehovah, and they went as far as Tahpanhes. And the word of Jehovah came to Yirmiyahu in Tahpanhes, saying, take large stones in your hand, and you shall hide them before the eyes of the men of Yehudah, in the clay in the brick courtyard, which is at the entrance to Pharaoh's house in Tahpanhes. Then you shall say to them, thus said Jehovah of hosts, the Elohim of Israel, see, I am sending, and I shall bring Nebuchadnezzar the sovereign of Babel, my servant, and I shall set his throne above these stones that I have hidden. And he shall spread his canopy over them, and he shall come and strike the land of Mizraim, bringing death to those appointed for death, and captivity to those for captivity, and the sword for those for the sword. And he shall set fire to the houses of the mighty ones of Mizraim, and he shall burn them and take them captive. And he shall cover himself with the land of Mizraim, as a shepherd puts on his garment, and he shall go out from there in peace. And he shall break the stone pillars of the house of the sun, which are in the land of Mizraim, and he shall burn the houses of the mighty ones of the Mizraites with fire. The word that came to Yirmiyahu concerning all the Yahudim, who were dwelling in the land of Mizraim, who were dwelling at Migdol, and at Tapnis, and Noph, and in the land of Pathros, saying, Thus said Jehovah of hosts, the Elohim of Israel, You yourselves have seen all the evil that I have brought on Yerushalayim and all the cities of Yehudah. And see, this day they are a ruin, and no one dwells in them, because of their evil which they have done to provoke me, by going to burn incense, by serving other mighty ones, whom they did not know, they, nor you, nor your fathers. And I sent to you all my servants the prophets, rising early and sending them, saying, Please do not do this abominable matter that I hate. But they did not listen or incline their ear to turn from their evil, not to burn incense to other mighty ones. So my wrath and my displeasure were poured out and burned in the cities of Yehudah and in the streets of Yerushalayim, and they became a ruin and a wasteland, as it is this day. And now thus said Jehovah, the Elohim of hosts, the Elohim of Israel, Why are you doing this great evil against your lives, to cut off from you man and woman, child and infant, from the midst of Yehudah, leaving none to remain, by provoking me with the works of your hands, by burning incense to other mighty ones in the land of Mizraim, where you have gone to dwell, to cut yourselves off, and to be a curse and a reproach among the nations of the earth? Have you forgotten the evils of your fathers, and the evils of the sovereigns of Yehudah, and the evils of their wives, and your own evils, and the evils of your wives, which they have done in the land of Yehudah, and in the streets of Yerushalayim? To this day they have not been humbled, nor have they feared, nor have they walked in my Torah, and in my laws that I set before you and your fathers. Therefore thus said Jehovah of hosts, the Elohim of Israel, See, I am setting my face against you for evil, and for cutting off all Yehudah. And I shall take the remnant of Yehudah, who have set their faces to go into the land of Mizraim to sojourn there. And they shall all be consumed in the land of Mizraim, fall by the sword, consumed by scarcity of food. From the least to the greatest they shall die, by the sword and by scarcity of food. And they shall be an oath and an astonishment, and a curse and a reproach. And I shall punish those dwelling in the land of Mizraim, as I have punished Yerushalayim by the sword, by scarcity of food, and by pestilence. And none of the remnant of Yehudah has gone into the land of Mizraim to sojourn there shall escape or survive, lest they return to the land of Yehudah, to which they are longing to return, to dwell there. For they shall not return, except those who escape. Then all the men who knew that their wives had burned incense to their mighty ones, and all the women who stood by, a great assembly, and all the people who dwelt in the land of Mizraim and Pathros, answered Yirmiyahu, saying, We are not going to listen to you in the matter about which you spoke to us in the name of Jehovah, but we shall do whatever has gone out of our own mouth, to burn incense to the sovereigness of the heavens, and pour out drink offerings to her, as we have done, we and our fathers, our sovereigns, and the heads, in the cities of Yehudah and in the streets of Yerushalayim. And we had plenty of food, and were well off, and saw no evil. But since we ceased burning incense to the sovereigness of the heavens, and pouring out drink offering to her, we have lacked all, and have been consumed by the sword, and by scarcity of food. And when we burned incense to the sovereigness of the heavens, and poured out drink offering to her, we did make cakes for her, to idolize her, and pour out drink offering to her, without our husbands. Then Yirmiyahu spoke to all the people, to the men and to the women, and to all the people who had given him that answer, saying, As for the incense that you burned in the cities of Yehuda and in the streets of Jerusalem, you and your fathers, your sovereigns and your heads, and the people of the land, did not Jehovah remember them? And it came into his heart. And Jehovah could no longer bear it, because of the evil of your deeds and because of the abominations which you did. Therefore your land is a ruin, an object of astonishment, a curse, and without inhabitant, as it is this day. Because you have burned incense, and because you have sinned against Jehovah, and did not obey the voice of Jehovah, or walk in his Torah, in his laws, or in his witnesses. Therefore this evil did befall you at this time, at this day. And Yirmiyahu said to all the people, and to all the women, Hear the word of Jehovah, all Yehuda, who are in the land of Mizraim. Thus spoke Jehovah of hosts, the Elohim of Yisrael, saying, You and your wives have spoken with your mouths, and have filled with your hands, saying, We shall perform our vows that we made to burn incense to the sovereigness of the heavens, and pour out drink offering to her. Then confirm your vows and perform your vows. Therefore hear the word of Jehovah, all Yehuda, who are dwelling in the land of Mizraim. See, I have sworn by my great name, declares Jehovah, my name shall no longer be called upon by the mouth of any man of Yehuda in all the land of Mizraim, saying, As the Master Jehovah lives. See, I am watching over them for evil and not for good. And all the men of Yehuda, who are in the land of Mizraim, shall be consumed by the sword and by scarcity of food, until they come to an end. And those who escape the sword, few in number, shall return from the land of Mizraim to the land of Yehuda, and all the remnant of Yehuda, who came into the land of Mizraim to sojourn there, shall know whose word is established, mine or theirs. And this is the sign to you, declares Jehovah, that I am punishing you in this place, so that you know that my words are certainly established against you for evil. Thus said Jehovah, See, I am giving Pharaoh, Hophra, sovereign of Mizraim, into the hand of his enemies, and into the hand of those who seek his life, as I gave Sidkiyahu, sovereign of Yehuda, into the hand of Nebuchadnezzar, sovereign of Babel, his enemy, who sought his life.